All right, let's jump right into this explainer. Today, we're unpacking the actual underlying mechanisms of human behavior. We're going to be pulling insights from James Clear's massively influential book, Atomic Habits, and we'll even layer in a bit of broader behavioral psychology just to see what really drives the things we do every single day.
So, think about this. Why do we keep repeating bad habits even when we genuinely, desperately want to change? You know the feeling. We all struggle with it because we mistakenly rely on this fleeting burst of motivation instead of setting up real structural control over our behavior. Millions of people read self-improvement books, hoping to fix a version of themselves they're secretly kind of disappointed by. You already know you should exercise more, focus better, scroll less. But the reality? Inspiration might feel really productive in the moment, but your environment and your automated systems are the ones actually in the driver's seat.
Here is our roadmap for today. We're going to cover 1. The math of compounding, 2. Systems over goals, 3. Identity-based habits, 4. The laws of behavior change, 5. Environment design and habit stacking, and 6. Awareness versus action.
Let's start right off with takeaway number 1, the math of compounding, which is all about getting 1% better every day.
Most people think that real transformation requires these massive, heroic leaps. But actually, it's entirely about micro-choices. If you get just 1% better each day for a single year, the math completely compounds, and you end up almost 38 times better by the time you're done. That is huge. The core principle here is that time magnifies the margin between success and failure. Literally, time is just going to multiply whatever you feed it.
When you visualize how those tiny shifts compound over months and years, it's pretty mind-blowing. But you have to be super careful of what's known as the valley of disappointment. See, when you start a new good habit, you naturally expect linear progress, but reality curves. You don't see results immediately, and that lag right there is exactly why most people quit. You have to be patient enough to push through that plateau before the results suddenly compound and everyone suddenly starts calling you an overnight success. Moving on to takeaway number 2, systems over goals. It is time to redesign your approach entirely.
We hear it everywhere, right? Set bigger goals, keep your eyes on the prize. But honestly, goals alone just don't work. Goals are temporary targets that only allow you to win once. Systems, on the other hand, are the lifestyle architecture that guarantee you win repeatedly. Think of it like this. If your bedroom is a mess and you set a goal to clean it, well, you'll have a clean room for exactly one day. If you never change the messy habits that actually created the clutter, you're just going to have a messy room again tomorrow. Systems fix the underlying process.
There's this absolutely iconic quote that nails this concept perfectly. You do not rise to the level of your goals, you fall to the level of your systems. So if you're feeling stuck right now, the problem isn't a lack of willpower. It's the system you are operating inside of. Bad habits repeat themselves not because you don't want to change, but because you have the wrong system for making that change.
Now let's explore takeaway number 3, identity-based habits are changing who you actually are. This completely reframes how we look at self-improvement. You need to stop focusing on what you want to achieve and ask yourself this instead: who do you want to become? When you build an identity, you naturally fight to protect it. It's deep psychology. If you try to turn down a cigarette by saying, "No thanks, I'm trying to quit," you're still acting as a smoker who is trying to change. But if you say, "No thanks, I'm not a smoker," you're operating from a totally different identity. Behaviors that conflict with your identity are incredibly hard to maintain.
Changing that identity basically requires just 2 steps. First, decide the type of person you want to be. Second, prove it to yourself with small wins. Every single tiny action you take is literally a vote for the person you wish to become. And the best part? You don't need unanimous vote to change your identity. You just need a majority. The more you perform habits aligned with that ideal person, the more your brain actually starts to believe you are them.
Let's pivot to takeaway number 4, the 4 laws of behavior change. This is the tactical blueprint for your brain.
Before we can change anything, we have to understand the habit loop. This is your brain's sneaky way of automating solutions to daily stress and boredom. First, a cue triggers your brain. Then, you experience a craving to change your internal state. Next comes the response, which is the habit itself. And finally, you get a reward. Your brain loops this exact cycle over and over until it becomes completely unconscious. To take control of that loop, we apply the 4 laws of behavior change. If you want to build a good habit, make the cue obvious, make the craving attractive, make the behavior easy, and make the reward satisfying.
And if you want to break a bad habit, just invert those laws. For example, if you want to stop doom scrolling in bed, make the phone invisible by leaving it in another room. Suddenly, scrolling becomes incredibly difficult.
Which brings us to takeaway number 5, environment design and habit stacking. This is where we take action.
This is the ultimate plug-and-play formula. After my current habit, I will do my new habit. This is called habit stacking, and it takes advantage of the strong neural connections already hardwired into your brain. Through a biological process called synaptic pruning, your brain gets rid of unused connections and builds these massive, fast neurological highways for the things you already do every single day. Habit stacking just piggybacks on those existing highways to anchor a brand new behavior.
What's really cool is how fast and effortless this is to implement. After I pour my morning coffee, I will meditate for 1 minute. After I take off my work shoes, I'll put on my workout clothes. You don't need willpower to remember to meditate if the trigger isn't an arbitrary time on a clock, but rather the automatic act of pouring your coffee. Your environment acts as the cue, completely bypassing the need for motivation.
Finally, let's look at takeaway number 6, awareness versus action. This is about finding the ultimate balance.
If we pull back and look at the bigger picture, pairing Atomic Habits with Charles Duhigg's classic book, The Power of Habit, gives you a complete behavioral toolkit. See, Atomic Habits gives you the ultimate execution plan for action, while The Power of Habit provides the necessary psychological awareness to understand why you were stuck in the first place. You absolutely need both to survive in our modern world, where literally every app is engineered to steal your attention. Awareness without action leaves you frustrated, but action without awareness means you'll eventually fall right back into your old hidden triggers.
You are building habits in every single moment, whether you realize it or not. So you really have to ask yourself, what are your automated actions teaching your brain right now? Every time you delay a task, every time you pick up your phone to scroll, and every time you actually show up and do the work, you are casting a vote for your identity.
Remember, your future is quietly hidden inside your automated everyday actions. So, what is your brain learning from you today? Thank you so much for hanging out for this explainer. Equip yourself with the right systems and be sure to subscribe to the channel The Edge Library to get notified of all upcoming book summaries. I'll catch you in the next one.